Who has the highest IQ in history? The answer may surprise you. Intelligence is a tricky thing. Like great beauty, great intelligence can be a blessing or a curse to those who possess it. Sometimes the smartest among us live the most difficult lives. Other times they're just really awesome people that make the rest of us look really lame. While there are many different ways to measure intelligence and many different kinds of intelligence, this list focuses on the highest IQ scores. I'm Mike with List 25, and let's continue on to learn about 25 highest IQs throughout history. #25. Albert Einstein. German-born Albert Einstein is such a well-known genius that his last name is a common term people use to refer to someone highly intelligent or clever. He's also one of maybe two theoretical physicists that the average person with no interest in physics can name. During his life, he wrote over 300 scientific papers in addition to writing to President Roosevelt to warn him about the dangers of nuclear weaponry, being a devoted political activist who was a member of the NAACP, and being a well-known Zionist who helped establish the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. His IQ was reportedly between 160 and 190. #24. Nathan Leopold. Nathan Leopold was a child prodigy with an IQ of 210. He had a difficult childhood with few friends and was sexually abused by a governess at age 12. He was also a murderer obsessed with committing the perfect crime. In 1924, he teamed up with Richard Loeb to murder Loeb's 14-year-old cousin. Despite the obvious premeditation, both avoided the death penalty, and Leopold lived to be released from prison. After prison, Leopold moved to Puerto Rico, where he taught mathematics at the University of Puerto Rico. The murder was the inspiration for Alfred Hitchcock's movie Rope, which is one of his best works. Right, Tristan? 23. Nadia Cova. Nadia Cova has an IQ of 200. The Moscow-born professor can speak 7 languages, 8 Turkish dialects, and currently is a professor in Turkey. 22. Jacob Barnett. Jacob Barnett's parents were told when he was very small that he was severely autistic and would likely never learn to tie his shoes. Instead, he took his IQ of 170 and became a doctorate student at the University of Waterloo in Ontario, Canada. His mother, Christine, made the choice to go against all his teachers' advice and pull him out of special ed classes when he was young, after his teachers discouraged her from teaching Jacob more than the most basic skills. 21. Richard Rosener. Richard Rosener has an IQ of 192, but his resume is almost as interesting. Rosener has worked as a writer, bouncer, nude model, and once appeared in a Domino's ad. He also takes over 30 pills and supplements a day and works out for at least 2.5 hours. He says it's part of his obsessive personality. 20. Nicola Pollock. Nicola Pollock is a Croatian researcher and physicist with an IQ of 182, according to the World Genius Directory. Pollock is an assistant research fellow at CERN, as well as the Brookhaven National Laboratory in New York. 19. William J. Sidis. Sidis' parents set out to make a genius child, and the genius child they made, with an IQ of over 250. His mother Sarah was a doctor, female doctors being nearly unheard of in the late 1800s, and his father Boris was a college professor. Boris and Sarah started grooming their child to be a prodigy. William was speaking in simple words like door by 6 months old. By 7, he spoke 7 different languages and was studying high school level subjects. Unfortunately, this left no time for William to be a child. He was accepted by Harvard at 9, but they wouldn't allow him to attend until 12 years old due to emotional immaturity. As an adult, he traveled from city to city taking random jobs and changing his name often. He wrote several books, most of which are terrible and boring, but one touches on what we now know as black hole theory. He was said to be very childlike and unhappy, and died of a stroke at just 46 years old. His life is a cautionary tale to parents who want to push their children too hard.
18.
Paul Allen. Paul Allen was a billionaire who was born in Seattle and had an IQ somewhere between 160 and 170. A longtime friend of Bill Gates, Allen worked at Microsoft before retiring in 2000. He owned the Portland Trail Blazers and the Seattle Seahawks, and was a well-known philanthropist. Sadly, he passed away on October 15, 2018, from septic shock caused by non-Hodgkin lymphoma.
17.
Judit Polgar. Hungarian chess champion Judit Polgar has an IQ of 170. She was ranked as a chess grandmaster at just 15 years old, the youngest to do so at the time. She is considered the greatest female chess player in history.
16.
Philippa Mangu. Philippa Mangu is a Nigerian-born computer scientist who has been called the Bill Gates of Africa. Despite growing up in a country torn by civil war and having to leave school at the age of 14 due to lack of funds to continue, Dr. Mangu worked hard and earned a scholarship to Oregon State University at the age of 17. After watching how bees made honeycombs, he used the same basic idea to construct the world's fastest computer. His work has helped make oil fields more productive, saving millions of dollars a year. His IQ score is 190.
15.
Terence Tao. Terence Tao was born in Australia to parents who had immigrated from Hong Kong. He published his first research paper at 15 and received his PhD from Princeton University when he was just 21 years old. At 24, he became a professor at UCLA, being the youngest ever to do so. He has one of the highest IQs in the world at 225. And we here at List 25 love the number 25, so way to go, Terence.
14.
Christopher Langan. Christopher Langan is considered by some to be the smartest man in America. He taught himself to read before he was 4, and eventually left college because he felt his professors could teach him little. Like others on this list, he's had many random jobs: farm worker, forest firefighter, and bouncer, to name a few, but he is best known for his cognitive theoretic model of the universe, which has to do with the relationship between the mind and reality. His IQ is 195.
13.
Slav Previck. Slav Previck is a Croatian math professor who has an IQ of 192. For context, only 1 in a billion people have an IQ over 190. According to Mislav, very difficult intelligence tests are my favorite hobby. However, his wife Mariana explains that they're just an ordinary couple, and there are still things her hyper-intelligent husband finds difficult. When we buy a mobile phone, I'm the one that puts it together and puts the SIM card in, she stated.
12.
Ivan Ivic. Croatian mathematician Ivan Ivic is an IQ test specialist with an IQ of 174 himself. He has a website of his own that's dedicated to IQ tests. He states that time restrictions on traditional intelligence tests are not necessarily ideal or an indicator of intelligence. As he puts it, specifically, there are intelligent people capable of performing complex actions and resolving complex tasks, although their speed of solving is low. You can actually take his IQ tests in the link provided in the description below.
11.
Kim Anyeong. By age 3, Kim Anyeong was fluent in 4 different languages, so his IQ of 210 isn't a surprise. Born in South Korea, Kim eventually moved to the US and worked for NASA for a decade before returning home to Korea. He has some very definite things to say about being special. People always try to be somebody special by neglecting their ordinary happiness, but they should know happiness means ordinary things that we take for granted, such as nourishing friendships, sharing memorable moments with friends at school, and so on. This is why I know that what I'm saying is important. Being special is not as important as living an ordinary life. Hey, if someone phenomenally special says that the best things in life aren't being special, but are right in front of us, maybe we should listen.
10,
Chris Hirata. Michigan-born astrophysicist Chris Hirata became the youngest U.S. recipient of the International Physics Olympiad gold medal. Yes, that's a thing. A really impressive thing. He earned a BA from the California Institute of Technology in 2001, and at the age of 16 started working for NASA on that pesky, can we colonize Mars problem everyone's talking about. In 2005, he got his PhD in physics from Harvard. He was 22. As of now, Hirata works at Ohio State University as a physics and astronomy professor. His IQ is reported as 225. More 25s. Woo!
9,
Garry Kasparov. Russian-born Garry Kasparov is considered to be the greatest chess player of all time. In 96 and 97, he played a chess match against an IBM supercomputer, Deep Blue. Kasparov won the first match. Deep Blue won the second. It was the first time a machine had beat a world champion chess player in a classical game under tournament regulations. Kasparov is also a writer and political activist with an IQ of 194.
8,
Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was perhaps the most well-known theoretical physicist in the history of the world, meaning that he's one of the only two theoretical physicists most people outside of STEM fields can name. He's the author of A Brief History of Time, which is one of the most highly regarded and well-known works ever written on the Big Bang Theory. When he was just 12, he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, a disease which most people die of within 5 years. However, Professor Hawking lived to be 76. He moved around and communicated via a specialized wheelchair which included a voice synthesizer. His IQ was 160.
7,
Walter O'Brien. Walter O'Brien is an Irish businessman and tech mogul with an IQ of over 190. Bored at school as a child, his teachers suspected autism. When he was tested, they found no autism, just that he was simply too smart for school. At the age of 13, he hacked into NASA's top security servers and stole plans for the space shuttle just because he could. He's been known to joke that his business, Scorpion Computer Services, was started as a way to stay out of jail. His life is the inspiration for the CBS television show Scorpion.
6,
Marilyn Vossavant. Missouri-born Marilyn Vossavant was placed in the Guinness Book of World Records in 1986 as the person with the highest IQ in the world, her score being 228. She's had an Ask Marilyn column in Parade magazine since the mid-80s and is a playwright. Her husband, Robert Jarvik, designed the first successful artificial heart, earning them the name of the smartest couple in New York from New York Magazine.
5,
Leonardo Da Vinci. Unfortunately, there were no set tests to measure IQ during the time of the Renaissance, but it's been estimated that Leonardo da Vinci's IQ was between 180 and 190. While most people know Da Vinci for his paintings, he was an expert in many fields, including mathematics, geology, cartography, and engineering. He was also one of the most accomplished and talented artists to have ever lived.
4,
Nikola Tesla. Like Da Vinci, there was no test to measure IQ when Nikola Tesla was alive. However, it's been calculated that his IQ would have been around 200, which isn't surprising considering the man invented a lot of things, like remotes, that most of us use on a daily basis, some of which Thomas Edison took credit for. The man predicted cell phones in 1926. He has to be up there with uber intelligent.
3,
Sir Andrew Wiles. Sir Andrew Wiles is a mathematician at the University of Oxford. He was able to prove Fermat's last theorem, something others had failed to do for over 350 years. His IQ is reportedly 170.
2,
Geena Davis. Academy Award-winning actress Geena Davis has an IQ of 140, as well as being fluent in Swedish. She started a foundation, the Geena Davis Institute on Gender and Media, with the goal of having women more visible in media. Their slogan is, "If she can see it, she can be it."
1,
Anyeong Kali. Anyeong Kali, a child prodigy from Singapore, was born in 1999, and at the age of 7 became the youngest person in the world to pass chemistry 0 level. He can also recite pi to 518 decimal places and composes music. His IQ is reportedly over 250. So, have you ever taken an IQ test? What was your score? Let us know in the comments below, or tweet your answer to us at List25. And I have not taken one. I do not know my IQ score. Hopefully more than 25.
Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button on the bottom right and the notification bell so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these videos here or just head to our website at list25.com.